U.S. officials are set to meet with Iranian officials for talks in Oman this weekend. In an interview published Friday on Breitbart, U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff said Iranians have told them they don't want a bomb and they're accepting them at their word for now. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett joins us. Charlie, this is the fourth round of talks. What can we expect?
Well, a source familiar tells CBS News that these talks will be both direct and indirect. That's kind of important. And for Witkoff to say that Iran does not want the bomb and he believes them is certainly a step forward. And the fact this is the fourth round of talks, that's also a good sign. Both sides are still talking. Hopefully that shows they're making some progress. But the view from this building, I can tell you that the stepped-up military posture that you and I have spoken about before is still stepped up. There are still 2 carrier strike groups in the region, still B-2 stealth bombers in the region. Iran's air defense systems are severely deleted. The United States has even brokered a ceasefire of sorts anyway, with Iranian-backed Houthis. So it may be that the Iranians are feeling the pressure because the United States may be speaking softly, but they're certainly carrying a big stick.
The Pentagon, Charlie, has issued a new order directing all leadership to remove books and materials related to DEI issues by May 21st. What can you tell us? So
that just dropped this afternoon, and it follows a similar order that was already issued for military academies a few weeks ago. And like, take the Naval Academy, for example. That's reported to have removed something like 400 books so far from their library. So this is kind of to be expected because it expands that ban on those books to leadership and combatant commands. But in terms of the Navy thing, just for an example, a local initiative is already underway in Annapolis, and it's being driven by a retired Navy commander, which is restocking local libraries with those banned books. So the memo reads, today's memo reads, that any educational materials promoting divisive concepts and gender ideology are incompatible with the department's core warfighting mission. So these new orders give the military leadership less than 2 weeks to identify and yank those books off the shelf.
And the Pentagon said Thursday it will begin moving as many as 1,000 openly identifying transgender troops out of the military, give others who have not yet self-identified 30 days to remove themselves. They're also going to be combing through medical records. Is there precedent for that?
Lindsay, if it feels like we've been talking about this for months, it's because we have. I mean, if there is precedence to it, it's the precedents that they've already put in place. So those new orders were issued last night, and I'll get to that in just a second. But according to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the U.S. will be removing 1,000 service members who now currently openly identify as transgender, giving them 30 days, as you said, and those who have yet to identify as transgender and reservists, another 60 days. So the new order comes after the Supreme Court decision allowed the Trump administration, by extension the DOD, to enforce a ban on transgender individuals that was announced way back in February. In a statement posted on X, Secretary Hegseth said, "We are leaving behind weakness and wokeness. No more pronouns, no more," his words, "dudes in dresses. We're done with that stuff." I'm paraphrasing that. So where the medical thing comes down, it'll be difficult to figure out how many service members will be involved. The DOD does have medical records putting the number of those suffering what they call gender dysphoria at around 4,200. So that's a medically diagnosed condition. It's described as where a person's biological sex doesn't match their gender identity. Advocacy groups that we spoke to say, you know, the active number of reservists who are active service and reservists may be as many as 14,000. They also argue that although it represents a small fraction of the 2.1 million people serving, these are highly trained individuals dedicated to serving their country. So, as you said, it not only orders a purge of thousands of transgender individuals currently serving, but prohibits any transgender people from enlisting in the future.
Charlie Daggett, thank you.